Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through this D Block Europe, Nino Uptown, and Wewantwraiths type vocal effects. And at the end, I'll let you know how to get this preset for free as well. I'm going to go through both third-party plugins and the stock plugin version. So doesn't matter what plugins you have. If you have FL Studio, you should be able to use this preset. So first one, I'm going to play through it with the third-party plugins at the moment.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing no pain, that's why you don't know who you are. My she were asking, he wrote my rapper friends, and I just told him nah. She crying, diamonds like the stars. Bought the coca soft, I whipped it, turned it hard. I like her nails, her hair, I like her ass. Pinot with a Zeno in a pint glass. Home Alone 2, I started with nothing, it's hard. The drillers ain't taking no payment, cause they banning hammers out of love. Perform on camera like a star. Sold that crack from Katie's, now look, I'm a star. Ow, yeah, got a stash spot by the lake. Ask how I'm doing, man, I'm great. 9 ounces drying on the plate. Tap running like a race. Private plate, the new R8. Buy a Louis, fuck a face. Buy my niggas, hammers fly away. No fake models, no divas. 100 band for the Nina. Rotate them up, do a clean up. Clean up, skate. Big cars and no finance. $500,000 in Binance. All these watches still can't get the time back. On my mind back, fly that.
Alright, so that's the effect. So I'm going to go through the third-party plugins first, or pretty much I'm going to go through the third-party plugins because the stock plugins is basically just the same thing, just with the stock plugins. So as you can see, I've got the third-party plugins lined up against the stock plugins in terms of tracks here. So right now I've got everything chained into the third-party plugin. So that's what I'm going to go through now. First thing to note is that when you drag your vocals into FL Studio, or if you record into FL Studio, you want to make sure that your vocals are peaking around minus 18 decibels and your beat is peaking around minus 6 decibels. So that right here, I've got usually if you're taking the beat off of YouTube or you've got the beat from the producer, it's usually peaking at 0 decibels. So I just drag it down minus 6 decibels here, and then to make it peak at minus 6. So that's that. So when you've made sure that your vocals are peaking at minus 18, around there about minus 18, you can start chaining your vocals into different tracks. So the first track we're going to look at is the lead vocals. So how I've got this set up is I've got lead vocals chained into a vocal bus, chained into the master. So first of all, we're going to look at the lead vocals. On the lead vocals, we've got auto tune. This is the most important part for this effect. With the auto tune, you want your retune speed all the way up, you want humanize all the way up as well. Flex tune on 10, and then natural vibrato on 1. If you've got the older version of auto tune like this, you won't have flex tune. Flex tune is like how natural the vocals sound, so it's kind of important. I found it important because without flex tune, you get a kind of a more robot type sound. I'll play it with the older version of autotune.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing no pain, that's why you don't know who you are. My she were asking, he wrote my rapper friends, and I just told him nah. She crying, diamonds like the stars. Bought the...
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But yeah, just to get a smoother sound, I preferred the new version of autotune with the flex tune. And this isn't necessary, but sometimes I add a doubler to the vocals just to make it sound wider. As you can see here, I've got the gain of both the doubles to minus 30. So you can barely hear the difference. I'll play with it off and then with it on. This is it with it off.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing no pain, that's why you don't know who you are.
This is with it on.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing no pain, that's why you don't know who you are.
So you might not be able to hear the difference, but it just makes those vocals sound a bit wider. Of course, got an EQ here, a deductive EQ, just taking out the frequencies I don't like, and taking out the low end here. To take out the frequencies, let me mute the beat. Take out the frequencies. What I do is I'll just play through the song.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. Much you are asking,
So you can hear that. I'll just bring up this frequency here and move it around until I hear those screeching noises, those noises I don't like. And then once I've hit one, I just come down here and take it out and do that for the rest of these frequencies as well. And then I'm cutting out the low end here as well. After that, I'm inside this EQ here. I'm just boosting the highs here for that high end clarity. But most importantly, you want to make sure you've taken out those low ends, that low end first, for better clarity. So take out the low end first before you boost your highs. So that's the lead vocals. That all goes into the vocal bus. This is where I've got the majority of the wave plugins on the studio rack. So if I open the studio rack, these are all the plugins I've got here. So the studio rack is just basically like this rack here, but to hold all it can hold wave plugins in the space of just one slot here. So really I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plugins just in this slot here. So if we go into here, first thing I've got is a noise suppressor. This noise suppressor is very useful. Beats off. I'll play without the noise suppressor.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are.
So usually when you record, sometimes you might have your computer with a fan making noise in the background. This plugin gets rid of all of that. So I've got it to 10 here. That should be enough to take out any background noise that you can hear in the background of your vocals. I'm gonna disable all these so you can hear the difference better. So this is without.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are.
And this is with.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. Mash you up.
So that's that. Next I've got a vocal rider. I'll say these two, the noise suppressor and the vocal rider, aren't necessary, but they're helpful. So the vocal rider just levels all those just levels my vocals. So in places where I've sung a bit louder, it will just level everything out. So here with that one.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. Mash you up.
So that's that plugin there, and then I've got the R compressor. Hard compression at first, the threshold at -35, and my ratio at 10. So a hard compression and compressing a lot of the vocal, and obviously a higher gain, makeup gain, to make back the volume of the vocal. And I've got a hard attack here as well. So these are my settings for the initial compression. And then I've got the F6 RTA dynamic EQ, just cutting out low end here, cutting out more low ends and boosting certain frequencies here and here. I'm just using this F6 dynamic EQ just to level out all the vocals, because there's some vocals, the lead vocals coming in, vocal dubs if you have them coming in, and ad-libs coming in, and maybe some other vocals as well from maybe you've got more than one artist on the song, and all these vocals are coming into the same vocal bus. So to make them all sound the same, you want to use this EQ to level everything out, to make sure that the vocals don't sound too different, or that or sound like they were recorded in different places, etc. So that's that I've got there. And then I've got the C4 multiband compressor. For this plugin, I just use the vocal preset here, and then I've pushed that up slightly, the output. So this is just to level your vocals as well. and you can play around with the output to see what sounds the best. But with the vocal preset, that's what worked best for me. So we've also got a de-esser in here to take out the sibilance in the vocals. Set it to around -25 here, and it just simply takes out the S sounds and the harsh S's and some of the harsh P's as well out of the vocal. And then finally, I've got this CLA 76 compressor, just to bring the whole mix together, lightly compressing the vocals just to bring everything back together and gives it a more processed sound in the end. Yeah, so that's all for everything on the studio rack. And I've got Vahalla Vintage Verb for my reverb. When using the Vahalla Vintage Verb, especially to get the decay and the pre-delay, I just do 60,000 divided by the BPM. So in this case, 130. Then you divide that by 100, which will give you the decay in seconds. And then to get the pre-delay, you do 60,000 divided by the BPM again, so 130. Then divide that by 4, and that will give you the pre-delay in milliseconds. I'm using the concert hall preset here in the 70s color, and I've just set the mix to 6%. So it's quite powerful. So you don't need a lot. This is a lot of reverb. And then to bring my vocals, as I said before, I usually have the beat. I'll have the beat at sitting around -6 decibels. So to bring, you don't want your vocals louder than your beat, and you don't want it too much quieter than the beat. So what I do is, before adding the limiter, I'll see where the vocals are peaking out on the vocal bus. So if I play it now,
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are.
so the vocals are peaking around -12 decibels here. I want to bring it up a bit to around -6 to hang around there. So to do that, I just use a limiter and the Fabfilter Pro L2 limiter. And all I've done here is just boost the gain here about 6.5 decibels. That's all, and that brings up the loudness of the vocals.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are.
So you can see here it's now sitting around -6. And then that's it for all the processing there, and then it's all chained into the master. On the master, I've got the SSL comp plugin by Waves again, just using the mastering preset here, and I've kept the analog button on to give it some analog grit, just give it a more analog sound. A simple compression here, just to compress the vocals and the instrumental, just to squash it a bit and make it all sound level. And then to finish it off, I use the Ozone 9. This is the Ozone 9 Advanced to master the track. So what I do is I use the Master Assistant. So if you click on the Master Assistant, it will just ask you if you want a modern sound or vintage sound, how loud you want it. And here I've gone for low because the streaming platforms want your loudness to be at around -14 LUFS. So if you plan to put your music on streaming platforms, this is the one you want to select. Obviously, I've gone for a modern sound as well. You might want a vintage sound, but I've gone for a modern sound. And then -16 LUFS, so low here. Or you could also upload a reference track, and it can take the loudness from that track and give you a similar loudness. And then the destination streaming. So if you click on next, and then it's waiting for you to play the audio. So if I play the audio,
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. ask, can he rob my rapper friends? And I just told him nah. She crying, diamonds like the stars. Bought the coke soft, I whipped it, turned it hard. I like her nails, her hair, I like her ass. Pinot with Zino in a pint glass. Home Alone 2, I started with nothing this hard. The drillers ain't taking no payment, cause they banning hammers out of love. Perform on camera like.
So it's processed it and given me what it thinks is the best settings for the master. So an equalizer here, an EQ, just taking out low end and boosting just like the mid range a bit. A dynamic EQ here, taking out some of these frequencies, looks like here, and then the maximizer to just boost the loudness, limiting everything at -1 decibels, so the whole track won't go above -1 decibels, so you don't get any peaking and any distortion. So that's it for the vocal effects. D-Block Europe don't really use vocal dubs, so I've not included it in the effect. But if you were to use vocal dubs, it would be pretty much the same here for vocal dubs track, auto-tune again, EQ again, and then the difference is I've got Ozone Imager plugin which stereoizes your vocals to spread out the vocals so that you can distinguish the vocal dubs from the lead vocals. So it will just spread out your vocals here, and then this stereoize knob here, I've turned it all the way to the left to stereoize it as much as possible. So that's what I would use if I was using any vocal dubs. And then, as I said, I've got the stock plugin equivalent. So the same thing, just with stock plugins. So the difference is, and as you'll see in the preset, is that if you have these Waves plugins and the other third-party plugins, it will load up. But if you don't, then it won't load up. So if it doesn't load up, for example, on the master, you can, instead of the SSL comp and Ozone 9, you can use the Fruity compressor here. What the SSL compressor was doing was compressing the vocals lightly, the vocals and the instrumental all together, and then I'm using the Maximus here as a master, and I've just gone to the preset clear master, and that's what I'm using to master the vocals here.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. Mash, you are asking, he robbed my rapper friends, and I just told him nah.
So that's how that would sound. And I don't think I've gone through the ad-libs. So the ad-libs, the same thing here with the auto-tune and the EQ, deductive EQ. And then I've got a parametric EQ here. I've used the radio preset to give it a radio sound. And then you can shift some of the frequencies here to just play around with the sound to give it that radio effect on the ad-libs. Another compressor here, just lightly compressing to bring the squash the vocals a bit. And then I've got Fruity Delay 3 here to delay the vocals, add delay to the vocals. And these are my settings for that. The main thing is turn the wetness down a bit here, turn the level down a lot. I noticed that the ad-libs aren't too wet, so I've turned everything down a bit, and the input here turned it down as well. So yeah, I've noticed that the ad-libs don't delay for too long, so these are my settings for that. And then I've got Pancake 2 as well, which is just a panning plugin, pans the vocals from left to right. So I've got for every bar it pans from left to right, and I've also boosted the highs as well in the little EQ here. Okay, so now I'm going to swap the vocals to the stock plugins, and in doing that I'll also show you how to chain audio clips to different tracks. So if you double click on an audio clip, you can see the track number here, and you can change that track number here, and it corresponds with the track number in the mixer. So the number 6 here is my lead vocal stock plugins is number 6, so I'm just going to change that to number 6 here, and I'm going to do that for the rest of these lead vocals here as well. Change all of these. And now these, my ad-libs. I had my stock ad-libs on track 8 here, so I'm gonna swap these to track 8. I think I did this all in one take, so yeah, it's already moved up to 8 apart from this one. Alright, so now let me just check my master as well. Okay, so I'm using the stock plugins here on the master. So now this is what the master, the stock plugins would sound like. On the stock plugins, for auto-tune, I've put auto pitch. If you don't have auto-tune, I'd advise you get auto-tune. It sounds better. Nothing really comes close to as good as how either Waves Tune or Antares auto-tune sounds. But if you don't have any of those, this is a free third-party plugin. The link will be in the description. So yeah, auto pitch. If you're using auto pitch, then you'd open it up. Come here. So the key for this song is F minor. So you'd come to minor, select F, and for this effect, anyways, I'd say you put the depth up to 100 and the speed up to 100, and you want the dry and wet knob up to 100 as well. So I'll leave that off for now and use auto-tune for this stock example. So let me play. This is now all stock plugins apart from the auto-tune.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. My she were asking, he wrote my rapper friends, and I just told him nah. She crying, diamonds like the stars. Bought the coca soft, I whipped it, turned it hard. I like her nails, her hair, I like her ass. Pinot with a Zeno in a pint glass. Hold on to, I started with 9, it's hard. The drillers ain't taking no payment, cause they banging hammers out of love. Perform on camera like a star. Sold that crack from Katie's, now look, I'm a star.
Alright guys, so that's it for the vocal effects. If you'd like to get a hold of this FLP preset, then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and then after that there'll be a link in the description to my Instagram. Follow my Instagram, and then send me a DM, show me proof that you've subscribed to the channel, and then I'll be able to see if you followed me or not as well, and then I'll send you a link to the FLP preset, which will have both the third party and the stock plugin tracks, so you can use whichever ones you have. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.
I can see in your eyes you ain't beefing or paying, that's why you don't know who you are. My she were asking, he wrote my rapper friends, and I just told him nah.